international science conference of the world. Next up, we have a guest speaker all the way from Paris. So join us in welcoming Emily Brio. Hi, nice to meet you.
Thanks. Thanks, Shannon. But you can call me Em.
Okay, well, what's been up? I heard you wrote a new book.
Yeah, it's called Stem Cell Research. Kind of boring name, but, stem cells.
Interesting. So, I've heard you've been observing Carlos and his crew of scientists who've been researching stem cells.
Well, yes, indeed. I have been closely observing Carlos and his crew of scientists in the laboratory. We've gotten a lot of insight on the components of stem cells, and I also have been hearing many ethical concerns with what they're doing. So.
Oh, well, I see. Well, let's get talking about them stem cells. So, will you explain the basics of what they are?
Sure. So, stem cells have the possibility to develop into many different kinds of cells in the body throughout their early life and growth. They function as a sort of repair system in many tissues, and they can divide with almost no limit in a body as long as a human or animal is living. When stem cells divide, they have the potential to stay a stem cell or the potential to become a more specialized kind of cell.
I see. Well, how are they different from animal cells?
Well, they're different from animal cells in two different ways. One, they're unspecialized cells, and they're able to renew themselves after division and long periods of idleness. And two, under certain physiological or experimental conditions, they're capable to become a type of tissue or organ-specific cell with specific functions. For example, in some organs, cells can divide at any time to become new cells, but in others, they can only divide under certain circumstances.
So many people have been petitioning against embryonic stem cells on our science blog lately.
Yeah.
And they've been discussing how the government, should be funding them because there's so many people who are pro-life advocates. And we know that stem cells come from the inner mass of the blastocyst, the embryo after 4 days.
Yeah.
And so, but stem cells are undifferentiated, therefore, they have no certain purpose yet. Scientists could do so much with them. They can use them to cure damaged or sick cells in patients with injuries or sicknesses. And so, because of that, could you tell us, how embryonic stem cells could be helpful in curing a disease?
Yeah. Well, take our nervous system, for example. Parkinson's disease is a progressive disorder in the nervous system. Parkinson's has an effect in the substantia nigra part of the brain, which controls balance and movement. Parkinson's is caused by progressive loss of neurons called dopamine brain cells in the substantia nigra. Symptoms of this disease include trembling or shaking of a limb, stiffness of limbs or torso, slow movement or inability to move, and it can also affect your cognitive ability. Studies have shown that stem cells can make dopamine, which creates neurons that Parkinson's patients don't have much of. If you implant those replacement brain cells, then there's a chance that your motor ability will improve. Therefore, in the future, Parkinson's might be completely curable by the use of stem cells. So.
Whoa, I see.
Yeah.
I see how so many people can be for them and against them. And now we have some questions from our bloggers who heard you're coming. The first one is from Zebra Daddy. He asked, are there any other kinds of stem cells other than embryonic ones? If so, why don't we use those stem cells for research?
Yes, there are other stem cells that are called adult stem cells, and they aren't embryonic. And don't get me wrong, we do use them and have used them in stem cell therapies, but they don't give the same effects as embryonic stem cells. They can adapt abnormalities, and they don't replicate as easily.
Our next question is from Alax Bro, and he's directly asking you what your opinion is on stem cells.
Oh, great question. I personally think that stem cell research should be allowed. The reason I feel this way is because I think that for all the moral drawbacks there may be to embryonic stem cell research, there are more benefits. I believe that it is more important for a sentient human being to be able to have the possibility to keep on living, rather than sparing the lives of blastocysts who feel no pain or emotion, who would never grow up to be anything but blastocysts. Some people say that using donated eggs to create lab-made embryos are a waste of potential, but I believe that saving someone who's already living is more important.
Well, it's about the end of our time, but thank you so much for coming out here and talking about stem cells.
No, thank you.
Okay, well, that wraps up our show, so see you guys all next time.